What's up, everybody? I think we're live. I think we are live. This beautiful Friday afternoon here in the Netherlands. It is cold. It is windy. It is grey. A perfect day to be behind the charts and to look at some news we'll see today. And that's what we're going to do in this live stream. All right. So welcome back. Let me quickly alert everybody that the live stream is going on right now. Voila. There we go. So the news is in about 4 minutes, I think. So we should be on time. Should be in time to also take a look at the markets real quick. And then afterwards we can also do some analysis if some of you are interested in that. But first, we're going to take a look at the news. So the news is coming out. We had some other news this morning, but nothing really matters. News is in about 2.5 minutes, so I started the stream nice and late. But we're on time, all right? And being on time, that's the only thing that counts, right? All right. Yeah, so Bitcoin right now, I mean, it's holding support relatively well. I mean, we're filling the CME gap right here. It's a bit of a bounce here, but ultimately not much going on, I'd say. So S&P futures are still relatively weak here. Which has been one of the main causes for the bearish pressure. Coinbase Bitcoin price is also still at a discount here, pretty big discount as well. So ultimately, I mean, even though Bitcoin is finding some support here, I'm not too convinced. I mean, we still have an imbalance left here at 86,800. We still have some imbalances a little bit lower as well right here. Basically, just above 86,000, we left a bit of an imbalance with the drop in price here. So unless we are able to break back above that, unless we're able to get some sort of a reclaim of that, technically we are bearish, especially given the fundamentals right now. But all right, the news. So news is coming in 53 seconds. All right, I will send I'll send the link real quick as well. So the main thing is we want lower than expected data. All right, personal income doesn't really matter. The most important things are the PCE Price Index year on year, YOY, Core PCE Price Index month on month, and Core PCE Price Index year on year. It's basically inflation rate, all right? It's basically CPI data. And we want the inflation rate to go down. All right, so check out the link I just sent in the chat. And welcome everybody, by the way. I mean, I hope you're all doing great. Hope you had a good week. We had some more bullish momentum. Personally, did not execute amazing on it, but at least there was some positivity. 10 seconds, all right? The main things to watch are the S&P 500 futures and Bitcoin, and we want lower than expected data. It could make the markets move, but ultimately other fundamentals probably matter more. I'm just going to look at the data first. I'm not going to take a look at the markets. Markets are going up. I would expect lower than expected data. No, it's actually higher than expected. Market is going up. I do not trust that. We filled the fair value gap here. But this data, this outcome is slightly bearish, I would say. Unfortunately, slightly bearish. The market so far, I mean, we had a bit of a spike up into that imbalance right here, the fair value gap, but ultimately it seems like right now we are dropping down, which is obviously not what we want to see. But the data, I mean, if we go over the data right now, personal income is higher than expected, doesn't really matter. PCE Price Index is as expected, fine. Personal spending is lower than expected, that's bearish. Core PCE Price Index month on month is higher than expected, that's bearish. PCE Price Index month on month is as expected, and the Core PCE Price Index, I would argue the most important data, is higher than expected. And not only is it higher than expected, the previous data also got revised to higher than expected. So in general, that is bearish. Now, to be completely fair with you, the news, all right, so the summary of the news is that it's not good. If I take a look at the markets right now, like, yeah, sure. I mean, this is a red candle, but this is the 1 hour time frame, right? I mean, if you go to the 4 hour time frame here, we don't see that much of a reaction yet. And at the same point of time, I also do not see the futures moving that much. Right here. Well, futures closed. Yeah, I think futures, you cannot see futures anymore. S&P, oh yeah, S&P 500 is also going down here. So bad news, and the market does seem to be reacting to it. Unfortunately, the situation, everyone, is just that, well, I mean, this news is not great. But if you take a look at the entire fundamental situation right now, so if you think about the unrest, the war sparking back up in the Middle East, or at least it seems to be doing that, and just in general the trade war and all the tension around that, what's causing that is that already caused bearish pressure in the US equity markets, and also very much in risk asset markets. You can see the Russell 2000 here already dropped down quite a fair bit since Wednesday. And that now also has an effect on Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin was able to hold relatively well over the course of this week. We had a pretty good PCE. Well, PCE. We had a pretty good Coinbase Bitcoin premium. But now it's not great. The fundamentals just are not bullish. All right, so that's why, a lot can happen the last Friday of a month. A lot of volatility. But ultimately, this data, for those of you who joined later, the data is bad. All right, it's not super bad, right? It's not that everything is higher than expected and everything is super bearish. But ultimately, the main result, practically the one thing moving the markets right now, is the core PCE price index year on year here. And not only is that higher than expected, that's the main data outcome. Also, the previous data was revised, so they were wrong about that. They revised it to be higher than previous as well. So what that means indirectly for the markets, or what that means directly, is that inflation has increased, or at least the core PCE price index has increased, right? I mean, inflation is very different to measure as a whole, and the core PCE price index measures it a tiny bit different from the CPI and the normal inflation rate, which was lower than expected. So in general, it seems like the inflation rate is not decreasing as steadily as we would have hoped. So ultimately, that means less rate cuts indirectly, and that has a negative effect on equities, on the asset markets, on capital markets, especially with these fundamentals on risky asset markets. And if there's one asset that's risky at this point of time, it's Bitcoin. All right. So ultimately, does this really change my thoughts on the markets? Honestly, no. If you had to choose whether this was bullish or bearish, it's bearish, but it's not so that this is like, for example, back when we had the unemployment rate data and the news of the carry trade ending back in August. That was real data which worried a lot of people. I don't think this matters too much, all right? But this, in combination with the fundamentals that we have already, I think it's still most likely, at least for Bitcoin, that will fill the CME gap right here. The CME gap started at 84,000. That's also a pretty strong support level. We have the POC there and the monthly open. So if we can get a strong bounce from that, I mean, talking about Bitcoin here, if we can get a strong bounce from this level at 84,000, then we could still hold that for a longer period of time, consolidate, and actually get some sort of bullish momentum later. Like, this is a realistic opportunity. This is a realistic possibility, but the only way in which we could see something like this is if we have some sort of fundamental relief, all right? So that we have either that the whole tariff situation is over, or just in general geopolitically, so some more good news, then we can do something like this. For now, given the data as well, I would argue we're dropping down into 84,000. I think we're going to be able to hold support there, but I think it's more likely afterwards, unless the fundamentals change, that we will drop down lower. So that's unfortunately what I think is most likely here. I think we have to conclude that based on what we're seeing right now and based on what we're observing from the markets. Now, things can turn around very, very quickly nowadays. So, I mean, if things do turn around, and like I said, if the fundamental situation turns better, and I've kind of said this in the same words three times now, so I'll stop. But if that does, I mean, all of a sudden 84,000 could be a great long area. So be prepared for that. But for now, be most prepared, or assume that we will drop down lower. All right, find support at 84,000, drop down lower afterwards. The entire market, as you can see, after the data is dropping down. So that confirms that this is a bearish data reading. I'm quite interested. I mean, the total 3 already broke down earlier. Total 3 also seems like it's dropping down lower. Support is still quite far away here. So just in general, taking a look at the entire crypto market, USDT dominance has bounced back up, but that's also getting into resistance. Bitcoin dominance is near the highs here, but that looks incredibly strong. It's also above the rolling VWAP here. No, I mean, taking a look at all the fundamental data here, taking a look at all these charts, it's risk off. That's my conclusion. All right, it's risk off. I mean, there are some altcoins here and there that are interesting. I think something like Grass, for example, looks quite interesting. Had a lot of volume, is forming some sort of a bullish chart here. So there's definitely still opportunities, but most of the market right now, as you can see here, is correlated to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is mostly bearish right now, or at least is leaning bearish. Now, do we have something else interesting? Are there any coins that you would like to see analyzed? Let me know, because then we do have some time for that. I mean, we'll spend some time analyzing for those of you who have coins that you like to see analyzed, and then we'll enter stream, and then I'll start working on my I'll run for a bit, and then I'll start working on my middle of the day market update after the US has opened, because obviously that's today. Like in terms of important events, the US market opening is going to be crucial. It's pre-market, it's trading a little bit lower here for a good reason. So maybe fill up the gap and then continue to drop down. Maybe we have some news and we can actually go up. But yeah, all right. But you'll hear about that in the middle of the day market update. All right. So I'll see you all there, of course. Hopefully, at least. If you're not there, what are you doing with your afternoon? But now let's look at some coins. I'll try to do a couple of them. Let's start with Polkadot. Alex, this is for you, brother. Polkadot. All right, let's start all the way zoomed out here. Bearish rejection here. Strong support down here. So this is, I mean, look, all the analysis I'm going to do right now is based on the assumption that the fundamentals stay the same, right? And the fundamentals right now are quite bearish. DOT looks quite, high time frame, downtrend. You can see on the daily time frame right here that we broke above the 28 EMA. We rejected from the monthly opening right here in 50 EMA, dropped down below that. I would be very surprised if this daily candle is going to close above the trend band here. So purely technically, it looks most likely that we're going to drop back down into support right here, right? So the main support level for Polkadot right now is still this. I mean, this is one hell of a level, by the way. I mean, take a look at this. Between $3.7 and $4, but it looks most likely we're going to drop down into that. Then obviously the question is as well, will we be able to hold that? I think the answer for now is yes. I do expect that, right? So clear technical rejection here. I might add some other things on the chart as well, real quick. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, there's basically support for Polkadot all the way from 4.2 to 3.7. I'd say the lower ends of that support is probably most reactive. So I think it's most likely we'll drop down into this and then hold this support. So the main opportunity I could see for Polkadot here is if we drop down under that main support level at 3.7 and that you get some sort of a bullish reclaim. That's an opportunity. Outside of that, I would be very hesitant. I would not set limits for this support level, even though it does look most likely that we're going to be holding there. Let's see. Solana, I covered this morning. Guys, come on. I make videos every morning. Solana is very often in there, so check it out. But in short, let's briefly look at it. I mean, Solana has broken back into a previous range right here. We left an imbalance to the upside. So there's a bit of an imbalance right here towards 134, 136. We might fill that, but ultimately, I think we have definitely reclaimed back into the range. So refill that, yes or no? Maybe with that gap fill from the US opening, I think we'll hold the breakdown, and that will drop back down lower into the range. Ethereum, look, remember what I said on Solana right here. Look at Ethereum; it's exactly the same. All right, Ethereum broke back down into this previous range right here at 1950. We left a bit of an imbalance here to the upside. So if the S&P 500 goes up to fill the gap, we could have some sort of a bearish retest here. But ultimately, I do think we have solidly broken back into the range. So I would expect lower. And the main support level for Ethereum is right here around 1800, I'd say. A little bit above that, actually. A little bit above that. SUI. But yeah, Alexander, it's best to stay out, at least until the US session. If during the US session we see some sort of recovery, anything could be interesting. But outside of that, it's a difficult situation right now. SUI real quick. So SUI reached our price target. I think we talked about in the video yesterday. Now it's dropping down. For me, look, SUI is actually still quite strong. Earlier this morning, we actually saw some SUI strength come in as well. So SUI is definitely one of the altcoins that I still have a little bit of hope for that we can actually that we can actually hold support here. But the main support level for SUI is this level right here, right? So it's a level between 2.5, but 2.5 is like the first level it meets, and then down into the support level right here at 2.45. So with SUI, I actually still think it has a chance to hold the support right here at 2.45, and that from there we can consolidate and actually rally again. But this is very dependent on the markets, right? So the main thing I'm looking at with SUI is, all right, if we react to 2.5, 2.45, can we get a strong reaction or not, right? If we hit that level, is there a lot of volume coming in? Do we have some sort of other bottom confirmation coming in there technically, some sort of a bearish divergence, who knows? Bullish divergence, excuse me. Then I would potentially buy there, but for now, given the way that the market is looking, it's much too uncertain. All right, so I would say for SUI that it's most likely we will find support at that support level, but I don't see enough, or at least I don't see enough strength in the markets to expect this. All right, I would say it's more likely to expect this. But like I said, SUI still looks like one of the strongest altcoins here, so pretty good. Yeah, XRP support is well, 1.9 is a little bit low. I'd say $2 is first. $2, 1.9. It's basically the same level. No, 1.95, 2.05. That's the main support. I think that's the best support level to buy XRP if you do want to buy it. All right, because if you want to buy it or not, it's a good question, and it's a question you have to really think about at least. Ondo real quick. Ondo has tried to break out here. Was a bit of a fake out. I thought about buying it, did not do that. Luckily, has dropped back down into this range. Same thing basically as Solana and Ethereum. A lot of these altcoins are correlated. A lot of them look the same. A lot of them have dropped back down into the previous range. For Ondo, it looks most likely we will revisit the bottom of the range right here between, support basically goes all the way down to 75 cents. But I would say around 80 cents, I think most support is there. I think we'll drop down into that, hold support, and stay in this consolidation for now, unless we see some sort of a strong market move coming back in. But that's it for now, guys. I'll make some... you can always... Look, if you join the Telegram, if you join the Discord servers for free, contact me in there, and I can always include one or two coins in the middle of the day market updates, and I can let you know, hey, I covered them, so check them out. And if there's enough demand, for a specific video on an altcoin, then I can make it from there as well. All right, so make sure to request it in there. In general, the Telegram group and Discord groups we have can be, or at least, the Telegram group is very active. Discord's a little bit less, but that's the best way to reach me as well. So if you just add me in there, I can answer all your questions. But that's it. All right. So same thing with Sonic. Sonic is down, but Sonic technically actually still looks quite fine. But that's it for now. For those of you who joined later, the news was bearish. PCE Price Index, aka inflation, was higher than expected. So that pushed equity, but also asset markets in general down, including Bitcoin. That in combination with the fundamentals makes it most likely for me that we will at least fill the CME gap, potentially drop down lower. But I'll be back during my middle of the day market update. It depends a lot on the fundamentals, so hopefully they change. And my bias is also dependent on those. But that's it for now. So thank you all for being here. Like I said, I'll be back later this afternoon, and hopefully I'll see you then. And hopefully I'll talk to you all in the Telegram and Discord groups. But for now, thank you for being here. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.